Hello and welcome to the Spotlight Games podcast for episode 2 something. I am not Patrick. I am not Cayman. I am Jake, and I am joined today with Blaster Goblin for the very first ever JakeBlasting episode. Blaster Goblin, how are you?
I am doing fantastic. I am so thrilled that I get a one-on-one date with JakeTwitchin.
It is so good to have you. We kind of we popped the cherry, if you will, a couple weeks ago on Drop In, Drop Out, and we were able to actually speak on a podcast before, but it's never just been you and I in a room. And it's nice. It already feels good.
It's an experience I've been waiting for.
It is going to be a fucking treat. I have some very good news stories prepared for us. We're going to talk about a bunch of new release games. It's going to be a very what we're playing centric episode, because I feel like it's kind of low key here in like the, I don't know, late spring, early summer era, a pretty dense time for video game new releases. We've got a lot to talk about, but we have some nice news stories as well. We have a lot of video game stuff to talk about because this is Spotlight Games, a drop in, drop out pod, where each week we spotlight the latest and greatest in the world of video games. You can get it by subscribing to our YouTube channel at Drop In Drop Out Pod, or by searching Drop In Drop Out Pod on your favorite podcast app. And hey, you can be on the show by tuning in live while we record on Tuesdays right here at twitch.tv/Drop In Drop Out Pod around 8 p.m. ish. So be sure to follow us there so you're notified when we are going live. We're going to start the episode by talking about a little video game that's going to make a massive splash right here on this channel tomorrow night. If you're listening to this tomorrow on podcast apps, tonight we are digging in to Forza Horizon 6 for the drop-in, drop-out Forza Horizon 6 Invitational. And Blaster Goblin, you're joining us, correct?
I am not, unfortunately.
Right, exactly.
I won't be able to. You guys always plan stuff on Wednesdays, and that's like the one day a week that I am booked up. So I always miss the fun invitationals. So this is my official verbal petition to move them all one day over to Thursdays.
You know what? I am going to obligate to this right now, because here's what happens. It's a tough world out there when you're part of the drop in, drop out sphere. What we have is Monday is JK Games. This also counts as housekeeping, by the way. Housekeeping, there's something going on JK Games on Mondays. On Tuesdays, there's something going on Spotlight Games. And on Thursdays, there's something going on Drop In, Drop Out, the flagship podcast, which basically leaves us Wednesdays, because Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays are sacred. The problem is, where does old JT fit in? When am I supposed to stream? The answer is on all of those nights, because I don't care. But in addition to that, when we add something to Wednesday, it's now 4 nights of drop-in, drop-out stuff, which is a lot. So I think we can push one from Wednesday to Thursday. And the next time we do an invitational, keep your eyes peeled if you're a big Star Wars fan. I think we can push it to a fucking Thursday. We can make this happen for you. Hold me to it.
That would be fantastic.
We got it. All right. So you're not going to be here for Forza tomorrow. I will win in your stead. Talk to me about your hands-on with Forza Horizon. What is the word? Do you love it?
So this is like my first Forza experience. I played a little bit of Forza Horizon experience. Okay. I used to play Forza Motorsport 3 with a friend all the time in like junior high, and I would just drive backwards around the track and crash everybody so he could take first place. And it was a fantastic scheme we had going. But Forza Horizon, I have like no experience other than I think I played a little bit of like the Fast and Furious one that they had free on Xbox for a little bit. And that's about it. So I'm in a whole new world here, and I'm loving it. Wow. I'm not a car games guy.
Interesting.
So this is a whole new world for me.
Okay, very cool. I think it's a great. I think I'm trying to think of if like I'm trying to put myself in your shoes, and if this was like my first like real car game experience, I'm pretty sure it would be a positive one, because the onboarding for this game is pretty elegant. I feel like it's got a strong opening couple hours to hook you in, and then it guides you very nicely through what to do in that game, because it can be very overwhelming if they didn't have this like interface with like the what's next feature. I feel like I would fall off within a couple hours. So I'd be like, there's too much shit on this map. I don't know what I'm supposed to do right now. And just adding a literal button that says what's next, and then giving you 4 options that will help you progress is such a godsend. I like check out when I'm playing this game. Like my mental state is completely somewhere else. I'm just racing around tracks. How do you feel? How many hours do you think you have in it?
Oh man, so I started like 2 nights ago, I think. I started, and I've probably put in like 4 or 5, maybe
Oh
6
yeah,
hours top. So I'm not. I mean, the one thing that's like I feel like it's not a spoiler because it's like out there, whereas the mech race, like everybody's talking about the
sure.
mech race. So I'm like right at the mech race is where I'm at
Yes. Okay,
because
so
I
that's
just keep
the
I don't use this what's next feature. I see
oh
it and then I just back out of it and I just drive to whatever is in front of me and I'm like, all right, this is the thing. So you'll catch me doing like 7 speed traps in a row. that's that's just
interesting.
whatever I wander
I
into.
I am surprised by this. I mean, I guess it makes sense where like the best way to like get bang for your buck is just do what is like closest to you. So if you're just looking to check things off the map, that's definitely a good way to do it. I am always, I'm farming those clips. I gotta get that mech clip out there, like I'm
Mhm.
not gonna get that by doing speed traps. I need to get to the next wristband event. So I'm constantly like spamming that. And it has resulted in a little bit of I wouldn't say friction, but like inconsistency on where the next thing takes place. And I know it's a driving game. Like literally, what else do you have to do other than drive to the next destination? But here I am fast traveling to the closest point on the map and then like zipping over there to the event and racing and the whole 9 yards. Have you explored any of the livery systems? Have you put any cool paint jobs on your car or made any paint jobs yourself?
I have not done any of that yet. I just found out you can customize your guy, like, more than just, like, my guy's just got a white tee and jeans on, and I'm like, "Yeah, that's
Mine
all he
too.
needs to be. He's in a car." So, I didn't realize any of that was even a thing. I just, like I picked the car, and I'm like, "What am I driving into?" I was playing this for, like, 4 hours the other day, just, like, catching up with an old friend. It was,
Oh,
like, as
nice.
if it was, like, a podcast, just, like, talking in a party chat, and I'm just driving around mindlessly from object to object, and this is the, like, peak of podcast gaming right here.
Yeah,
You just
for
lock in and it's like Minecraft. Like you start it, and then you're like, oh, it's 6 weeks later. I don't know what happened.
Yes, it is. That is a perfect way to say like podcast gaming. It is a great like get something else pulled up on the second stream, watch somebody else's, pull up the Blaster Goblin stream on Friday night, throw it up on the second monitor, listen to him while you do some races. You might see him playing this, you might see him playing Resident Evil. You never know what you might see Blaster Goblin doing, but it's a great like multitask game because Forza doesn't really require much of your attention, which is nice. Were you playing Forza with the person that you were talking to, or just
No,
playing
no,
Forza while
we're,
talking?
we're just chatting, and I was just driving around. And then,
Hell
like
yeah!
the first night I was playing it, I was doing exactly what you're saying. I was watching Euphoria just on my phone
Oh,
because I don't think that show deserves anything other than a phone watch at this point. Like, it is so terrible that I'm like, this makes this tolerable to do because I can just drive cars. Well, I see the 7th storyline about Sydney Sweeney joining OnlyFans.
audio listeners can't see me rubbing my fucking hands together right now, but I'd like to welcome you all to Spotlight TV, where Blaster Goblin and JakeTwitchin walk you through the first 6 episodes of Euphoria season 3, the biggest shit show on television. Talk about losing your way. Are you caught up? Have you watched the
Oh
episode
yeah,
as of like 2 nights ago?
yep. I'm watching them every Sunday.
Me too. Yeah, I'm hate watching. I'm tuning in. What did you think of the first season and the second season? Were you like an actual fan?
Yeah, my wife was a big fan of the first season, so I jumped in
Yep.
like during like right before season 2 started, and then I mean I enjoyed it. I thought the second season was slightly weaker than the first, but it's a
Agreed.
beautiful show cinematically,
Yeah.
so that draws me in general. There's some stuff in there I really liked. The Angus Cloud's character that is
Yep.
not in the season,
As
unfortunately.
why?
So, like my biggest the guy that I was the biggest fan of, no longer there. So that kind of
Right.
takes a little bit out of it. But also the show is just not good anymore.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is a drastic departure from what it once was, which is very wild to see it go down this road. And every once in a while, I feel like I get a glimpse of what you like was great about Euphoria. Like it often happens. I think like the highlights have been, and they've been hit or miss this season because I'm about to describe like one that is piss poor as well. But like those vignettes or whatever at the beginning of the episodes where it can be like a 10-minute long like flashback, like an isolated story about like a character's history or what they've been doing lately or what they've been doing since the last time we caught up with them. I think those can be very strong still. And like it has its moments where it's beautifully shot or the soundtrack hits right, but they're fewer and further between than ever. And a lot of times I am watching like a scene, and when I think about that scene individually, like isolated, I cannot believe this is still Euphoria.
Man, every week the thing that like is keeping me going now is like I watched the first episode and I was like, this isn't Euphoria, and I wouldn't say it's necessarily good, but I'll just put this in the mindset of this is a new show and I'll just watch it this way.
Yeah.
And then the second episode came, and the third episode came, and the fourth episode, and I was like, is this the same episode every time? It is the same 4 story beats every single episode of season.
Yes.
To this point, I'm like, well, it can't possibly do the exact same thing one more time. And then they do, and I'm baffled by it. I'm like, there's no way. How is he getting away with this?
It's like Rue's getting into trouble. Like Jules is up to no good. Cassie's on OnlyFans. Would you believe it? It is fucking crazy. I will say, are you we are so far gone. I'm so sorry, Patrick and Cayman. Are you a fan of Lost?
I am not. I've never watched Lost.
Got it. The guy who plays Alamo Brown plays a character on Lost who I was very fond of back in the day, and truthfully I haven't seen him in much else, but I think he's been a bit of a scene stealer. I think he's been very fun to watch play out, even though like I don't know why he's on this show or like doesn't make sense for Euphoria. It's still
like there are people in this show that are very good at what they do, and the show is just not giving them what they need to give you like a good performance.
Yes. Yeah, it is very bizarre. Back to Forza Horizon. That's it for Spotlight TV with JakeTwitchin and Blaster Goblin. Thanks so much for tuning in. Back to Forza Horizon. I don't know how much more I have to say about it outside of watch me dominate some races tomorrow night, but I will say, if I was pointing you in the right direction of how to get the most out of Forza from here, I would say work on your like car's identity. By now you probably have one that you've raced a couple times that's like you're like, oh, I kind of fuck with this. See if you have one, see if there's like a downloadable livery that makes sense for you, because I at this point have like I've got a Jeep that looks like the car from Jurassic Park, and I've got a little van that has like Marlboro cigarettes on the side of it, and I've got like Paul Walker's Nissan Skyline or whatever from the Fast and the Furious, and I've got all these cars that are like it's like I'm downloading a character from a different game or from a different like series, and it's enhancing the game for me quite a bit. Most recently I grabbed the Warthog from Halo. I used my car voucher for it, and playing like the Halo 2 Mjolnir mix in the background while I'm like hauling ass through like the forest, knocking down trees. It is a sublime experience. Oh, the U-Haul truck is another one of my favorites. I put the U-Haul logo 1995 for one day rental on the side of my Dodge Ram, and it's been quite fucking pleasant.
I am excited to dive into that stuff because I've just been like, oh, I can use the Lancer. I'm using the Lancer, and I just get in the white Lancer and do the race because I've just been kind of like, I'm just going to get into this and figure out what it is, and then I'll go off and explore all these other like the creative aspects or user created stuff. Right now, I'm just like, I got to get in and figure out what it is so that I could later on branch out if I decide that this is what I want to play.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and I think it's a game that benefits from. You really don't need to beeline it. You can take your time. You can just race around. Forza Horizon 5 was a game that, although I haven't played it in like 2 years, for the first like 2 or 3 years that it was out, I booted it up periodically, and I would have like weeks where I would play just 10 hours of Forza Horizon 5, like months and months after it came out, because I would just kind of get the itch. I'm like, oh, I want some good racing. What's a good one to hop into? Oh, I'm, 60 hours into a campaign of Forza Horizon 5. I have great cars. I love this world. Let's go just like do some races this week. This will bide some time. Really good game to own. You know what I mean? It's great to have on Game Pass. If you have a Game Pass subscription active, definitely hop in and play it. But it's a good game to just come back to. which is
I
very
think
exciting.
it's kind of set up like perfectly for that. Because one thing I hate doing is like if I play through like a story game or like God forbid an RPG, if I ever touch them, and then you're like, okay, I got to take a week off to go do something, and you come back and you're like, I guess I'm starting over because I don't know what happened through any of this. Is there
Yeah.
a story to Forza Horizon? Because right now it's like,
No.
well, there's Alexa's gonna tell me where to go, and I'm gonna go there.
Anna, of course.
And I can jump in every 3 months and be right back
Yeah.
where I was.
You're fine. There's like an overarching like the Forza Horizon festival you're trying to like I think you're trying to like actually I don't even know if that's in this one. In the past your progress was like monitored by like how many fans of Forza Horizon Festival there were in the area you were racing. So it's like we're bringing the Horizon Festival to Mexico and now we have 40,000 fans, but when you race this plane, people are going to go fucking crazy and then you'll have 60,000 fans of the Horizon Festival. But that is like the maximum amount of story that you're getting. It is all just wrapped around racing cars fast, which is exactly how to do it. Blaster Goblin, you a fan of Lego games?
I am a lover of Lego.
Hell yeah.
Since
Is
the beginning
Lego
of Lego
Batman
games.
on your radar? Lego Batman
It is on my
Legacy of the Dark
radar.
Knight?
I am really excited to pick that up as soon as there aren't 40 other games to play at the moment.
yeah, it is a little bit overwhelming. It's coming out at an interesting time. I picked up, so I got early access. It's the first game in a while that I've bought for like an exorbitant amount of money. I was, fortunate enough to get some codes for some of the other games that I've been playing lately, but this one not approved for the code. So I just like, reached into the old wallet and bought the deluxe edition of the game for fucking $95, including tax, which definitely hurt, but I needed to put a little bit of space between that and Yoshi coming out in a couple days, which I'm very fucking excited for, which will definitely be like a full playthrough for me. So I did jump in early. I have about 4 hours into Lego Batman, the game that launched 16 hours ago. And I'm really fucking hot on it. I think it's very, very good. It is a somewhat perplexing video game to describe in a lot of ways. Let me ask you, did you play Lego Horizon by any chance?
I did not play Lego Horizon. I have it. I just haven't got around to booting it up yet.
Well, good news. You dodged a bullet because that game mostly fucking sucks. But one thing that it does well is, although it's a Lego game and it feels like a Lego game, it also feels like a Horizon game. Like it preserves some of what makes like the Horizon video game great, I suppose, or some would say, not me in particular. Horizon Zero Fun, Horizon Forbidden Fun, not a big fan. But what the Lego Batman game this time does differently than its predecessors, because there are 3 Lego Batman games already, is that those games only felt like Lego games. They felt like Lego Star Wars. They felt like Lego Indiana Jones. They felt like Lego Marvel superheroes. They were carbon copies. And this game takes more of a page out of the Lego Horizon book of things. And despite feeling like a Lego game, it also feels a lot like a Batman video game, which is not something that they had ever explored prior to this. Those were always based off of like comics and movies and things like that. This time, this game feels more in line with the Arkham series than any other Batman IP, despite it being based off of basically like an amalgamation of the games, the TV shows, the fucking books, the comic books, the movies. And it does that in a pretty fucking elegant way. I am surprised at how much this is scratching the itch that I have, not just for a Lego game, but for like a third person open world action game. It is just a really fluid, fun experience. And of course, like all good Lego games, it's easy and breezy. What's your favorite Batman stuff outside of Lego?
Boy.
Do you like games? Do you like movies?
Oh boy, I have clearly an obsession with. I like Batman quite a bit. I love the Arkham games. I adore the first 2 Arkham games because I am cursed with the Arkham games that I can never make it past the first 2. If I'm trying to run through them, something happens. Last time I tried to do it, my PS3 just died. Straight up died right at the end of Arkham City, and I was like, all right, well, guess I'll never play Arkham Knight. So that's where I'm at with that. But I love Batman movies. I mean, I was the Dark Knight kid that had the Why So Serious poster on his wall and thought I was really edgy. So
yeah.
anything Batman, I'll jump into. But I was kind of worried, like what you were saying, with it being more like Horizon, where it kind of takes that, like, it takes its gameplay more from Arkham than from the Lego series. Because I played a little bit of the Lego Star Wars, the last one they did, that was like an overhaul, the whole thing. And I got it. I thought I was really gonna like that after like seeing the gameplay. I'm like, oh, they're overhauling this and they're like kind of growing up Lego. And then I think I made it like 3 areas in, and I was like, I don't think I like this at all. It's just not like hooking me even a bit. So I was concerned that it was gonna be the same thing with Batman.
Yeah, I get those concerns, especially coming off of Skywalker Saga, and I'm glad that I spent a little bit of time on Lego Horizon to kind of get that taste out of my mouth, because there is something sterile about the Lego Star Wars game that came out. It lost some of its charm, and it just kind of became like a game that is Star Wars themed but lacked identity. Like I didn't feel like it did anything. It was a return to form. It was great to get a Lego game after all those years. Same thing. I was hot and heavy on it for those first like opening hours, but after a little while, I was like, I don't think I want to collect any more fucking bolts. Like I think I'm just done with this shit right now. And I just never circled back to it. It just seemed like too daunting of a task. This one, in taking its cues from those Arkham games, has a much better pace of, you have, the prologue is very, very fucking strong. So extremely light spoilers. This is all in the thing, but just like progress wise, you start out, you play as young Bruce Wayne at Wayne Manor, and his parents are there and the whole 9 yards. And you kind of collect like your favorite superhero costume, and you're doing like a little kid thing. And then almost immediately, within like 15 minutes, you are almost beat for beat. I think this is a good way to sort of explain how it takes its inspiration from different movies and different Batman stories. Is it almost beat for beat follows the opening of Batman Begins. So you do the League of Shadows storyline in the Alps or whatever snowy mountain that is, and Ra's al Ghul is there, but then it adds its little like asterisk there. And like the big thing that it adds there that's not in Batman Begins is that you're doing all of your training with Talia al Ghul, who of course is in a ton of different Batman stuff, but not present in Batman Begins. So even though it's following that storyline, it adds its own little bit of flair, which I think is a really nice touch and keeps things interesting so that it's not just exactly copying those movie beats. And it's nice to have a little bit more dialogue instead of him just training on his own. But that opening montage and going through the League of Shadows and then eventually blowing that fucking place up and fighting Ra's al Ghul for the end and that big reveal, the whole thing plays very well as a prologue, because it takes a good 2 hours for you to even get dumped into Gotham for the first time, which is nice to be on the rails, because once they get you into Gotham, Gotham acts as not just a hub world, but you know, it's your open world. It's your entire fucking area that you're able to explore, do side quests in, solve Riddler puzzles, grab these collectibles, traverse around, have a good time. But then you also have segments where you travel to a certain destination on that map and you hit continue story, and then you're put into like an on rails, almost like episode or chapter, where it's, you know, you play as Batman and a companion character, and you're doing this like very specific or hyper specific level for 40 minutes. Structurally, it's fucking fantastic. I cannot recommend it enough. I am, with it, especially with how into Batman you are, really excited for you to get your hands on it and hear what you think, because I think this is going to be the one that, like, Lego Star Wars, Lego Horizon, and Lego Batman are really the 3 big Lego games that we've got in the last decade, and this is easily, I can say with 100% certainty, this is the one of the 3 of them. It's really fucking good.
Everything you were saying to me is like singing to me. This is music to my ears. This is what I want. I love it. Yeah. It's very Arkham like. I love that they're taking the greatest hits thing, adding a little bit to it. I like that there's on-rail sections. That is very important to me, because I feel like if you're just stuck in that open world all the time, it'll kind of get a little stale.
Yes.
But how big is Gotham? How big are we talking?
I'm still exploring. It's kind of like, it's open world for sure, but it's like segmented by like, there's like a north, south, west, and then there's like a Wayne Manor is kind of up here, and then your Batcave is down there. So you have like these different, almost like little compartmentalized areas, but pretty fucking significant. And I think that's one thing that the Arkham games have always done very well, is they're dense, but they're not fucking massive. So it's not like, this is not like a Grand Theft Auto size map. It is absorbable, and traversing it between your grappling hook, your cape glider, and the fact that you can just like fucking press up on the D-pad and summon your Batmobile wherever you are makes it really easy to traverse. What's your concern? Are you hoping that it would be a little dense or big?
I'm not looking for something that's too massive in this.
Mhm.
Like I said, I'm into the on rails part. So the last Lego game that I like really got into was DC Supervillains. And
Oh
that
yeah.
had like an open world like Gotham and then Metropolis above it. And it was like on the border of being just like a little bit too big for what I want. Or I guess it was
Yep.
it was like Metropolis, and then there was like Smallville on the side, and that's where it was like,
Oh,
we're
sick.
going a little bit too big here, and we might need to shrink it down in the world of Lego. So my concern
Sure.
is that they, really expanded this thing out for no reason.
Yeah, I think the last one that I can remember is Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, the one that's actually based off of like the movies, the Marvel, like the MCU, and not like the Marvel comics, I want to say. And that game was, or maybe it's Lego Marvel's Avengers. I'm getting those two confused. I think 2 is still comic books, and Lego Marvel's Avengers is based off of the movies. But it had like an open world, like Manhattan. I don't even know if it was called that. And I found that environment to be not only too big, but also too fucking boring. Like there was nothing to do. This one is very like, it has that like noir style, like gothic feel to the architecture, but it's also very rundown. Has those neon lights and like the water. That's one thing that's also worth saying, is that like not only does Gotham look fucking beautiful, the game itself is, I don't know how they do it, but those Lego games somehow look so fucking good despite having like a distinct art style where they're like toys. But yeah, the game is pretty. It really is. Um I don't know how much more I have to say about Lego Batman, but I do want to ask you about a different pretty game, if you're all right with that. Tell me
Okay.
about Saros.
Oh boy, Saros. I wish I had more time to be playing Saros. I wish
Really?
Honestly, I wish every game for the next like 2 months would just get delayed a little bit so I could catch up on all the things I'm trying to play at the moment. Because
Sure.
I was in Saros, and then immediately it was Forza, and now there's 007 coming up. I'm like, stop, just hold on a minute.
Mm,
Let me finish Saros. I think that is a fantastic game to play. Like the feel of the game is fantastic. The locomotion of it, just like moving around this world. I could just run. It's like what people say with Spider-Man, like how you can just swing through the city all day. I could just run and dash through Saros for hours and be entertained with just that. And that, I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing the entire time.
sure.
So, did you play Saros at all?
No, I haven't touched it. I was kind of scared off of it after Returnal. I played Returnal. It looked scary to me, basically, right off jump. So I didn't jump in for the $70 when it launched. And then I waited and I gave it like a shot. I played it for like 2 hours or so on PlayStation Plus when it, became easily available for me with my subscription. And the problem that I ran into was twofold. It was, number one, very difficult. It's a punishing video game, and I am notoriously just bad at video games. I'm playing Lego Batman, the fucking kids game, on easy mode right now, and like still having some trouble with some of those fucking puzzles. And my hand-eye coordination isn't what it once was. So Returnal fucked me up. And then the other reason why I fell off Returnal, where Saros speaks to me a little bit more, is that Returnal has like the fucking oh man, what is that fucking game called? The Somber Tapestry. That's like, that game is all fuck. Okay, I'm gonna try to describe it. It's like the entire game is like futuristic, mechanical, nasty tentacles and mouths and fucking. You know what game I'm talking about? That it reminds me of? Scorn. 2-monther pulled it in chat. It reminds me of Scorn. It has like the nasty, like alien
Okay.
tentacle grossness that you're using to like enhance your guns and stuff. That puts me off it really fucking bad. Saros looks to be like a little bit cleaner. Is that the deal?
I mean, there's a lot of tentacle. There's tentacle
Fuck.
everywhere. It is flying tentacle, but I don't think it's
Mm,
like Scorn level gross. It's
okay,
like a basic alien tentacle. So I mean,
sure.
you're not getting up close and like seeing suction cups on these things or anything like that. Like It's just
Like
it's
in my
white
favorite videos.
floating white stick. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not gross by any means. And I never played Returnal, so I don't know what the
Oh,
Returnal look is really. I saw it and I was like, I don't know if that's my thing. And then I found out I
sure.
really like roguelikes, so maybe maybe it would be. But I jumped into this because of Rahu Kohli, like entirely. Because
Hell yeah.
I was a mega iZombie fan. And then I'm a fan of everything else he's done since, but huge iZombie fan, and I've just been ride or die for that guy since. So I was like, he's in a game, let's go for it. Let's let's see what Returnal is. And then it turns out it's really fun to play. But
Yeah.
it is hard. I could see how you could like back out if you're just like not into difficult games. Like I have not finished the first boss yet. I get to the first
Okay.
boss, and then every time I do not make it through. I think I've been to him like 2 or 3 times. But I mean, every time you do that, and then you go back, you up your skills, and you go back, it's a little bit easier. The grind of a roguelike. So
Yeah. It's not
and
putting
I
you
feel
off.
like this game does kind of it boosts your skill enough each run. Like you don't feel like, oh, I didn't beat him, I'm never gonna beat this guy, which is how I feel when I play like a Souls game. I'm like, okay, that's
Yeah.
where I'm done, and I'm not gonna do this anymore. I'm gonna go play something that's fun.
Hell yeah.
Whereas like he gets me, and I'm like, if I get this one skill, I might be able to do this. So I'll go another run, and then I'm like, oh, it's 2:30 a.m. and I need to go to bed.
That's nice. The one more run of it all is very good, and very few roguelikes have ever hooked me. Are you a big Hades guy?
I'm not a Hades guy. I have not tried it yet.
Wow. Oh, I wish I had Hades 1 and 2 ahead of me still in my life. I would be a happier person. Big recommendation, but yeah. Saros, I here's the thing about Saros is that it's a no for now for me, but it is an eventual yes. Like I am positive that in my life I will be playing that video game. I just need to find the time for it. Maybe by the end of the year this time around, because I feel like it's reviewing well enough that it's going to catch some nominations at like the Game Awards. It'll be in those like end of year talks, I think, with drop in, drop out. And I think I should have the context to hop in. Anything else really that you want to mention about Saros? Anything else that like makes it sing? Anything special?
I mean, I think the one more run thing is kind of the thing that I think is so like much like Horizon, how Horizon you just like you can lock in and you can like step away for a little bit. I feel like it's a game that's easy enough to like a bicycle. Like if you step away for a minute and come back to it, you can get back into that grind of Saros pretty quick, and like you do a 30-minute run and then you're out. Like it's a game you can just kind of drop in, do a little bit, then head out, do something else.
Yeah.
And I think it's a game that you can stick with for quite a while. I don't know how long the story is because, like I said, I'm like boss 1, so maybe it dies off pretty quick. But like at the moment, I feel like it's got its hooks in me, and I just keep like every day I'm like, why don't I do one run of Saros real quick for a bit?
Yeah, fuck yeah. Hey, speaking of one more run, I've been playing NBA The Run. They had a closed beta this past weekend. Do you know anything about this video game? Have you heard of it?
I've saw the title and I was like, what is that? it sped by me on the interstate and I was like, whoa, a truck with cool lights on it.
Yes, exactly. And it had like the music blaring and it kind of rolls through. This game is very fucking interesting. This is a spiritual successor to NBA Street, and it wears that on its sleeve. If you look at this game quickly and then someone like yanks the screenshot away from you, you'd be like, hey, give me that NBA Street Volume 2 screenshot back. I want to look at that more. That looked nice. They're remastering it, maybe? It kind of looked kind of slick. This game is, I think, going to be very special. Now, here's the thing about it. I have a little cause for concern. I know it was a beta, but the beta was 5 days ago and the game launches in 3 weeks. Probably the technical issues will be solved, but even in like a closed beta test, it's been a long time since I've had to restart a fucking video game that many times where like it would crash or I would get disconnected or they'd take the servers down and something like that. So I feel like I need to be fair and tell the truth on my actual user experience. But when I was in there playing the video game, it felt fucking good. It felt like the dream of NBA Street. And this is I think a really cool story too if you're not too familiar with the actual game. This started out as a passion project from some old developers from EA back in the day that worked on those first few NBA Street games. And it was a game called The Run Got Next. And the idea was it was going to be a spiritual successor to NBA Street. It would play the same way as the game that you see here, even in the same art style, essentially. However, it didn't have any licensing. So it was all those like, when you played, have you played the NBA Street games?
I have not. So this feels like a big blind spot in my childhood. Like the street was there's like NBA. There's a couple different in that street series, right? Like, isn't there also like
there's
a soccer
NBA,
street
NFL, and FIFA.
Yeah, I missed that entire thing. I missed out because I'm not like a sports guy. Like I played my fair share of the Maddens and NCAA.
You never know by looking at us that we're not into sports.
Yeah, exactly. And unless they're like on the X Games, it's not gonna catch my eye, like even a little bit. So like that, I feel like that and like the EA big games are like these are like blind spots that I just missed out on, and I'm like, oh man, I should go back to them, but also I don't know if they're for me.
It's time to get off the fucking rails again. Blaster Goblin, there's a couple things that I know about you. When I think about you, I think of two things up here in the sky. The first one up here is I think of Resident Evil. And the second one up here is I think about Tony Hawk. And the fact that you are that into Tony Hawk and you have blind spots with like the EA big sports games is a mind fuck for me. No SSX for you either?
No.
Oh,
not even.
We gotta get you. We gotta get you on SSX.
I put a clip of it in a video I just did. It was a Jet X2O. I think
Jet X2O, yeah, PS2 game,
like a PS2 like jet ski game.
Yep,
that's like outside of like Tony Hawk and then like the Activision O2 series, like everything else kind of passed me by.
I was gonna ask you about that too. So like I'm a big Tony. We have to find time to do like a Tony Hawk retrospective, or what I think would be really interesting in that there's a billion great Tony Hawk videos out there. Some of them made by Blaster Goblin, but one of them that I never see out there is I would love to do like a long conversation about the orbiters of the Tony Hawk series. Matt Hoffman Pro BMX, Sean Palmer Pro Snowboarder, Wakeboarding Unleashed featuring Sean Murray. Are you a fan of that game?
Oh, I have it on the shelf back there. I wouldn't say I'm a fan. I own it.
I think that would be a very fun topic, but those extreme sports games always hit well for me. And NBA The Run and the NFL Street, NBA Street, that whole era of games is a favorite of mine. So having a new game that kind of just fits that bill, has 3v3 online multiplayer as kind of its like cornerstone of progression. The idea behind the multiplayer is this is just very interesting things. So typically you get a basketball game, there's really nothing to do but like fucking play basketball. But one of the things that NBA Street did all the time was it would have these rules where it was street ball. So a dunk or like a shot from inside the zone, big into sports here, I know exactly what it's called, is worth 1 point instead of 2 points. And a 3-pointer is worth 2 points instead of 3 points. So you would have that and you would play first to 21. And those were just the rules for the first 3 NBA Street games. This game does something where every game that you load into has a different set of rules. And it might be as easy as that, where it's 1s and 2s, or it could be normal NBA rules where it's 2s and 3s. But then they can go an extra fucking mile and have it be all points are worth just 1, but dunks are worth 3. So all of a sudden you're changing up your style and it's just a fucking slam jam and everyone's just running it up into the paint and slamming the ball into the fucking hoop for like an amazing amount of points. And that game goes by very, very quickly. And the way that they make this interesting, I think, is by every game that you play, when you load into your multiplayer match as like a solo player, you get matched up with 2 other people on your team and you start a run. And this run is like a tournament, a bracketed tournament. And every time you win, you get placed up against the next people that won their game in the tournament into a different game with different rules. So you're doing this run to the championship. And if you win 4 games in a row, then you win the run, which is, I think it's a cool layer added on there. Very interesting.
Fiesta Halo sounding to me. Like the pure chaos. Like, you know, the fun of like Fiesta Halo is like you come around the corner and you're like, I have only a pistol, and the guy behind you's got 2 rocket launchers, and you're like, oh well, that game went cool.
Yeah.
And I do like the sound of that, of like it could be just pure chaos or will not be. You never know what you're getting into. Love that.
For sure. Really cool. I'll have more impressions on that. That's a day one for me. It's $30 when it launches in early June. I don't have the exact date on, but really looking forward to it. And I think that was the last opportunity to play it for free. If you want it now, you're gonna have to buck up. But
So,
NBA The Run.
Out of like when it comes to like sports games, like I told you, I don't have like a whole lot. There's one basketball game that I absolutely adore. If there's a chance to play it, I will be playing it, and that is NBA Jam.
Oh fuck yes.
Where are we at on the levels of NBA Jam? Like, is the gameplay anywhere near the same thing? Because that's what I want out of a basketball game.
The answer to your question is yes. It has the on fire mechanic of NBA Jam. It's a little bit deeper than that. There is an element of like, there's like a dedicated, you have like kind of like a trick stick type of thing where you kind of like do moves and you can build up your meter, which is like akin to NBA Street's Game Breaker. There's more to do, but this game is generally the over the top gameplay that you're looking for from NBA Street. You have a turbo button like the good old days so that you can, it's not a sprint button, it's a turbo button, and it's got a fucking big green meter and it drains down like your
turn bright red.
Yes, the whole 9 yards. But yeah, it's like big over the top dunks. Goaltending is fucking encouraged. It is very much arcadey basketball, which when you think about arcadey basketball games, you basically can only say so far the great ones are NBA Street and NBA Jam. So if you like that, you might be in good shape. That's for sure. There was another game a couple of years ago that, like last year, maybe 2024 perhaps, that came out called NBA Bounce that was made by like Outright Games, I think.
Yeah, I'm familiar
with that. It was like supposed to be NBA Jam, and that game's kind of like generally a bummer. It's very bare bones. It's like if they made NBA Jam in 2024 but for kids. And this is definitely more of like a, hey, if you liked these games back in the day and you're an adult now, this game is for you, which is I think the right way to handle like a spiritual successor.
I remember seeing Bounce, and I think that's what I saw as I was like Outright Games, and I was like, I know what that is.
Yeah,
because they tend to make like the lowest level of like kids games. Like they made the Bluey game, excellent achievement hunt for me, but gameplay wise, not a lot there.
I've been trying to get into the Outright Games creator program for a couple of years now, and every time I play one of their games, I just dog on it so fucking bad. And I'm like, I can't for the life of me understand why these people won't give me codes to their games.
I feel like you should have stopped when you look at, because I've seen that application and it's like no foul language, and like from there I think you're out of the running. I
know, yeah. I know. I think I said in my application, I'm like, I said no foul language. I could clean it up for you, which I wouldn't do. That's what I lied to them. I lied to them on my application. Wait till they hear about my job history.
You gotta do what you gotta do in this hustle.
We talked about your infatuation with some extreme sports games, and the other pillar that we talked about was Resident Evil. Walk me through Leon Must Die. What is this?
Oh, you mean Leon Must Die Forever?
Right, that's my bad.
the strangest title I've ever seen. Are you familiar? Are you a Resident Evil guy? Much.
I'm so glad, because you asked me this question in your chat, and I was like, I don't even know if I responded, if I'm being 100% honest, because it's really hard for me to like deliver what I am and I'm not into in Resident Evil. The answer is like I was deathly afraid of Resident Evil for a very long time, and then in like 7th grade, a buddy of mine really wanted to play Resident Evil 4 but did not have a GameCube, and I had a GameCube, so he and I played Resident Evil 4 start to finish, and it was the only Resident Evil game that I like actually played and beat for a long time. And then a couple of years ago, a streaming counterpart and I played Resident Evil 5 start to finish, which I actually quite enjoyed as well. A little campy but really fun, and those are the only 2 Resident Evil games that I've ever beat. And then since then I've done like 2 hours or less of Resident Evil 2 Remake, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Resident Evil 7, and Resident Evil Village. So like the answer is I'm kind of into Resident Evil, but I'm also a very scared human.
Okay. I've been infatuated with Resident Evil like since birth. Like it's just, I also as a child terrified of everything, but for whatever reason Resident Evil is like, oh, we'll just move that over. That's not scary for whatever reason to me. So I've just always been on the train for it. So you're familiar with Mercenaries, right?
Yeah.
The side mode of Resident Evil. It's like a high score arcadey thing where it's just like an endless wave. So
Yes.
Leon Must Die Forever is not that, but it's kind of its replacement. And they did this in Resident Evil 7. They had, if you're not familiar with Resident Evil 7's DLC path, it is just nutso stuff. They had like a game where you play blackjack and you bet your fingers, and then there's like one where you got to feed Jack, you know, the old guy that lives in the house. You got to feed him a bunch of cake for his birthday. Was one of them, and then it's all over. And then there's like some actual story DLC, and then there was one called Ethan Must Die, and it's where you're kind of in the house, and they're coming at you kind of in waves, and then you progress through the house by earning points to like upgrade your weapons and make it through. So they've kind of brought that back, but this is a little more roguelite. So you start at the beginning of the game where you would start at as Leon in Resident Evil 9, and then there's these giant red doors in each location. So you start out, you just have your pistol, and then you can find boxes that have randomized weapons. You can get randomized buffs like, oh, my hatchet repairs itself, or these guns do more damage, or I do more damage if I don't have a hatchet equipped, so I can't parry, and stuff like that. And you can just upgrade these on the fly as you get more kills. And then the goal is to make it to level 20 where you fight the final boss. But you can choose different paths to get there through these red doors. So they'll be like level 2 red door, level 5, or level 9 red door. And once you go there, then there's another set of red doors, and you can kind of choose your path through various places of the main campaign where you would play as Leon. But you can take them in whatever order you want to get to the final boss with as much or as little prep as you want. And there's a timer that runs.
Okay. So then my question for you is, what kind of mileage do you think you can get out of this mode in particular? Okay, well, actually, in addition to that, how much is this? Is it a cheap game, or is it?
It is entirely free. If you have the game, you can play Leon Must Die Forever for free. It was like 8 p.m. on Thursday. They're like, hey, this is out. You can go play it right now. Like with no hype or anything. No, they're just like, here it is. Here's a trailer. You can go play this. And they kind of like said, like, as it was successful, they're like, we're going to just add some stuff for you for free because this game sold well. So I guess that maybe that's why it's like, it's kind of a small mode, but I think you can get a lot of mileage out of it if you are really into Resident Evil 9, like myself, or you really like a roguelike, because the goal is to make it to the last to the final boss and kill him, and then it like ends and it gives you your score, and it's like you got an A rank or whatever in your points, and then you can like buy modifiers, like you can go in now, rocket launchers will spawn and stuff like that. But once you've completed it, you then get rank 2 as an option, so that it makes it harder. There's more enemies, kind of changes things around, and every time you do it, I think it's up to like rank 5 or 6. So you can just keep running this thing, and it gets more difficult and changes a little bit each time. And then, of course, like items are randomized. They're not entirely random, but enemy placement can change. Like they have a couple different versions of, like if you walk into the main room of the hospital, sometimes there's like just 5 dudes walking in a circle. Sometimes there's the singing zombies are in there. Sometimes the chef is in a room. Other times he's not. So like, it's not like it's just whatever can appear there, like a randomizer inferno mode, but there is enough variation that you're like, I don't know what I'm getting into this time. And last time I had this, but I walk in here and this room's so different that I'm like, I gotta run the other way and get out of here. So I think if you're just into like with every game we've talked about, like if you're just looking for a game, like I can do a 30-minute run. Like you can knock this thing out. I think the like speed runs on this are like 7 minutes. People are blowing through this thing. Now I'm doing like 30 minutes a run, and I'm getting destroyed in the last boss every time. So
got it.
Like
it's a
your
Saros,
mileage can vary, but I think you can get a lot. Exactly. Yeah. Apparently my downfall is boss. Like if I get to boss, that's where I fall short.
I think I heard about you quitting some Souls games as well for the same reason. Interesting. I'm seeing a pattern here. It's very cool. I like that it's free. I like that it's supported. And I know that Resident Evil is notorious as a series for just tacking some shit onto their games. Like they're like, by the way, this mode is out a year and a half later for the game, or a couple months later, and it can be hit or miss. But it sounds like this one is a hit more than a miss, which is very cool. We love to see it. What do you say an hour into the show, we start talking about the news here on Spotlight Games.
Oh, the thing we were tasked to do.
That's right. That's right.
I believe it was a week ago that Patrick said, I would never give you the keys to the castle. And then look at where we are. And look at what
this is what we do. I think I haven't been on Spotlight since episode 200, but episode 200 was a kind of like a retrospective, a look back at Spotlight Games. And I'm pretty sure I ended up being the person that's been on the show the most outside of Patrick or Cayman. And I also am definitely the person that has hosted the most besides Patrick and Cayman. And the only consistency that I have in that is that every episode is completely different. And it's always it's always widely varied on the format of the show, where sometimes it is like a very what we've been playing heavy. Sometimes I leave out the news spotlight, which is literally the name of the show. I love to come things and shake things up a bit. I'm very much like Bam Margera in that way. Terrible joke based on early 2000s MTV programming.
I mean, you're already halfway there with the hood on indoors. Why not?
That's so true. Yeah, I'm going for it. I pulled like a half dozen news stories for the last week, and I have two that I want to get your opinion on, and then the rest we will just kind of run through in the form of a news spotlight. The first one that I want to talk about is the rising price of PlayStation Plus. This past week, PlayStation put out a tweet, pretty unceremonious, no PlayStation blog post or anything like that. They gave us the old, due to ongoing market conditions, prices will start at $10.99 for 1 month subscriptions and $27.99 for 3 month subscriptions. Blaster Goblin, do you know the price discrepancy between what it would have cost you to subscribe today versus what it would cost you to subscribe tomorrow for 1 month?
No.
$1.
Oh boy. That's going to do so much for them.
$1. It's really going to move the needle. I think that's going to really help us recoup those fucking Concord costs from a couple of years ago.
Something's gotta, because woof on that one.
Yeah.
$1.
That single dollar.
It feels like a bad call. Like if you're like, I mean, anytime you're talking about a price increase, you're like, that's a bad call. We don't want to do a price increase. Nobody likes a price increase. But I feel like if you're doing only $1 right off the heels of Xbox dropping it, like you're in a bad spot. You don't want that. That's just asking to, like, you're already like, oh man, Xbox is on the come up and everybody's complaining about us not having games and all these other things. Yeah. Why throw fuel on the fire?
I am in total agreement with you. I am a big, like, okay, well, I ordered pizza for the three of us. Everyone throw me $10, even though the total was $34. You know what I mean? Like, it's fine. It'll all come back around. I feel like it's not worth fucking rocking the goddamn boat right now for that little of an increase. And I get that it's on a massive scale. And if you increase it $1 for 2 million subscribers, you just made an extra $2 million a month, or however, you know, I have no idea what that's are. But it does seem odd, and it's such a small step in the wrong direction that I wonder why they wouldn't just wait a little while. Like, it would have been, you're going to have to suffer this news cycle again in a year when it goes up another $1 or another $2. It would have been wiser to just wait 2 years and boost it $5 than to have the same headline, because no one's talking about the fact that the price increase is only $1. They're just talking about the fact that the price increased.
Yeah.
that's
like,
the headline.
They're not doing anything for you. And it was terrible press when Xbox was like, we're going to raise the price $10, because everybody's like, that's nuts. And then they're like, but we're going to give you a Fortnite. And you're like, well, that's not really worth it, but I guess there's something there. They're just like, yeah, stuff sucks. Give us an extra $1.
Yeah. Noah in the chat makes a interesting point. They don't want to wait for a little while for the context to be around. Sony jacked up online costs right after everyone bought GTA. They need this news cycle to die before then, which might be right. And we do see this pattern quite a bit. We talk about it all the time on Spotlight and on Drop In Drop Out, that oftentimes Microsoft and Sony especially, Nintendo not as guilty. They just kind of hit you with the fucking bad news whenever they feel like it. they are always really, really good about delivering like fucking terrible news or like things that would be reflected as poorly upon them with like good news on the horizon. Like a week from now, they're going to announce something that's so cool or a brand new state of play, and we will have forgotten everything that fucking went bad. And I think this is probably one of those situations. I think that's the most accurate take on it is let's increase it now, and then all those GTA players that are paying for online, we get those extra millions once it's go time this November.
In that context, not thinking about it, SGF Summer Games Fest SGF is coming up very soon, like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
it's on the horizons. It's like what, like June 7th or something like that.
I think June 5th.
June 5th. Yeah, it is like right around the corner. And they usually do something around there. There's a showcase or something.
Oh, yeah.
As everybody does. They just force everything into the box of June for all their announcements. So maybe they're about to drop like a Concord 2, some incredible live service game that they're like, you're going to want online. And
yeah.
Well, it may be $1, but I got to play this.
And now we're proud to re-reveal Fair Games, but the S is a $sign.
They're never revealing that again, man. I don't know why people keep wanting that. It's not coming out.
No, it's not coming out. That's in development.
They're burying it.
They lost their director. Jade Raymond left again.
They are burying it under Concord. That is not coming out.
It would be the smart move at this point. But yeah, I've been on high alert. I feel like there could very well, like I was looking around today and like tomorrow for an imminent PlayStation State of Play for like Thursday or Friday, because there is still a lingering, the last like word that we had officially from like a Sony first party studio was that there's going to be a dedicated Wolverine showcase, which is usually a State of Play. Like they do deep dives for Horizon or Gran Turismo or God of War. There's gonna be one of those this spring. June 5th is Summer Game Fest. Spring is coming and going. So like I'm under the impression that we're going to get an imminent State of Play. And at that State of Play, they'll be like, tune in next week on May 29th for a deep dive into Insomniac's Marvel's Wolverine. We'll get our second trailer, third trailer, I guess, and then that deep dive. So yeah, I think a State of Play is imminent. I am excited. Also rumblings of a Nintendo Direct here in the very near future as well. Obviously a confirmed Xbox show. You excited for Summer Game Fest? Do you get giddy? Do you get jolly around this time of year?
I'm a Jeff fanboy. All the Jeff shows. I'm in for Jeff.
Me too.
I love to just lock in and let Jeff just spew it on me, whatever he's got.
Blaster Goblin. Pretend Jeff is standing above you waiting to spew it upon you. And he says, I need you to name my fourth show. Yes, exactly. That's exactly how you receive it. The show is, we have Summer Game Fest in June. In August, we have Gamescom opening night live. And in December, we have the Game Awards. I need a show for March or April. What is the theme? What is the name?
The show for March or April. The weather's really questionable around this time. Game event.
Ooh, now that's pretty good.
It's either real cold or real hot right now. Games festival.
I'd like to see him do like a what's next in gaming type of show or something along those lines. Like the Future Game Show, I think is a really great name for an event, even though they dilute that brand all the time. And there's like 3 of them, and it's always like kind of a B tier production. But I think you should have like a what to look forward to type of event in like February, March, April, and kind of preview what you might see.
Not as much like an announcement event, but like, hey, remember all this stuff event.
Maybe. I think still like an announcement event, because all of his shows follow the same thing. Like he gets up on stage, there's a full production. It's just not quarterly. It's just they're kind of all buried in the second half of the year in sort of like rapid succession. And then there's a big gap between the Game Awards and Summer Game Fest, 6 months off basically, or 6 months prepping for SGF and whatever else is next. Well, I'd love to see him get up on stage and show things off. And I feel like what happens a lot is I think Summer Game Fest is like an anchor show for him, and the Game Awards is an anchor show. And then a lot of Gamescom opening night live has big announcements, but it's the smallest of the 3 shows at this point. And a lot of what he does there is he kind of says like, look forward to more on that here at the Game Awards in December, And I feel like he kind of needs that other smaller show, which would probably be the smallest of the four of them, to sort of like set up for, because February ends up being like a dumping ground. February, March, you usually get like end of January or early February is like the Xbox has their developer underscore direct. You usually get a pretty big fucking state of play. You usually get a pretty big fucking Nintendo Direct. I feel like there's room for Jeff to step in there. I would like to see it. I'm glad to know that you're a big Jeff guy.
Do you think like if he kind of like shifted everything a little bit, like maybe keep Game Awards where it is and shift opening night live, like maybe back to July, and then take Summer Games Fest like back to March, and then like so it's kind of
I think he's too I think he's too locked in. He's too locked in, and the only reason I think that would be great if he could get these things to be like every 4 months. It would be awesome if you had like an April and August and a December show. But with Summer Game Fest was invented to take that place, to eat E3's fucking lunch, is to basically what it is. And that's the only one. Truthfully, the only thing that he could do would be to move the Game Awards to like February, like around the same times that they do like the Oscars. And I think that there's some leniency there, and that could work for him. But it's been like a time-honored tradition that it takes place in December of every year to kind of wrap things up. But there's always so much hubbub about how games are getting like pushed to next year. You got like Indiana Jones kind of getting snubbed because it came out like December 9th of 2024, so it's eligible for the 2025 Game of the Year show and whatnot. But I think that would be the wisest thing to do, because you're pretty locked in on Summer Game Fest with summer being in the name. You're fucked on Gamescom because that is based around the actual Gamescom trade show in Germany, where he has kind of like, he hosted opening night live and has kind of pivoted it and transformed it into a Keighley show, despite it sort of being an opening ceremony for the biggest trade show in the world for video games. So you're stuck in August, you're stuck in June. The question is, how do you work around that for a fourth show, or by delaying the Game Awards? I don't know. Jeff, reach out if you want to talk to us about this. We're both interested in speaking with you. I got an interesting one, and I'm interested to hear your thought on this, but there is a rumbling reported on here. Insider Gaming was apparently contacted by an anonymous source and provided them with a leaked video. Now, we don't have a view. The stipulation was, I'm going to show you this video. You can't show anybody, but you can report on it. 1047 Games, who is the studio behind Splitgate and Splitgate 2. Their next game, dubbed Impulse, appears to be a spiritual successor to Titanfall. You a Titanfall guy?
I missed the boat on Titanfall, and I regret it every day. Not as much Titanfall 1, but Titanfall 2. Every time I see Titanfall 2 and people talk about it, I'm like, man, if time would stop for a week, I'd go back and play Titanfall 2. But
yes,
it passed me by, and I'm always the guy like looking out of the bus window like, oh man, not Titanfall. Yeah,
I am a big Titanfall guy. I know Kayla's in chat already freaking out because Titanfall has been mentioned here, and we've had, some spiritual successors and some ideas, some people that had like some Titanfall like ideas. Obviously, Apex, very successful, set in the Titanfall universe, but the rumblings of Titanfall 3 seem to have fallen through. I want to say that there was actually like a vision for it, but it was canceled in pre-production at some point over at EA, over at Respawn. But this Impulse game is interesting, and I think 1047 is very interesting too, because they have sort of a sad story, and they've shot themselves in the foot a few times. I think they're really insane fucking make video games great again moment, or whenever you said things are fucking lame. It was a very, very odd thing. But Splitgate came out, and that game was very well received, but it was built on ancient architecture, and they had to make a very difficult decision in its development, where right as it was catching fire, they basically said, hey, we're not fucking developing this game anymore. We need a couple of years to work on the next thing in the Splitgate universe, because right now we do not have an infrastructure that will allow Splitgate to be supported for the time it needs to be supported to. So they worked on Splitgate 2. They put it out to middling reviews. They kind of missed the boat. The ship had already sailed, and I think Splitgate 2 can be looked at this point, although it's, it's still there. You can go play Splitgate 2, but enjoy playing with those couple hundred people, I fear. So I think them pivoting to the next thing and going down this road is interesting. And I'll read you a little bit of this article from Insider Gaming. Pre-alpha gameplay footage sent to Insider Gaming on the condition that it will not go public shows players fighting in team deathmatch, using grappling hooks, wall running, and boost pads to quickly traverse around the map. But what's particularly exciting is that the players are also able to use giant mechs that are scattered around the map. How mechs are obtained could change from the footage we saw, and they look strikingly similar to Titanfall mechs. I'm interested.
So I need a little background here, Jake.
Sure.
I played Splitgate 1.
Mhm.
Enjoyed it, and I was like, this is fine. Gives me my Halo itch a little bit while Halo is on life support. And I did not look anywhere near Splitgate 2 like most people didn't. Is there any connection between them and Respawn, this developer and Respawn?
I don't believe so. I think that chances are probably, I bet you could find a couple people that worked at one and now the other, because, the incestuous video game development community that exists out there is also, doing a lot of contract work these days. So I would be surprised if there was no one that ever worked on either of the Titanfall games, or at least Apex over there at that team. But no DNA. They're not like a spin-off of that, or it's not like a bunch of former employees banded together to go form this company or anything like that. This was a passion project that was a company that was formed to build Splitgate, a game that kind of delivered on that arena shooter promise of Halo back in the day, with that obviously the portal mechanic that separated it from the masses.
So that leads me to my second question.
Sure.
If this thing becomes a real game, do you see this as like a Pal World situation? Do you think this is like a, hey, that's just Titanfall and we got to go to court now? Or
I don't think so. I think Titanfall does it the best, but mech games have been around for a long time. You look to like your Armored Cores, and I think like one of the things, I'm in the minority here, but I was a huge fan of the original Xbox series called Mech Assault, which was a first-party game, a launch title, an Xbox Live game for the original Xbox. Very cool. But they put out a second game called Mech Assault 2 Lone Wolf. And the hook on this game was when the first game that you played, you spawn into a team deathmatch or whatever the objective is, and you're in your mech, and your mech dies, and you respawn in your mech. The second game had this mechanic where you would spawn in on your mech, and then when you got killed, you could eject your seat out of your fucking mech, and you'd be like just a dude in a power suit, much smaller, much less like effective, but there were still things that you could do, and you could go load into another mech and things like that. So the idea of Titanfall was not a novel one. You know what I mean? It was not a brand new idea. So I think that the name Titanfall will be all over this project when people review it. It'll be the fucking, talk about Impulse without saying Titanfall challenge, level fucking impossible. But I don't think there's going to be any legal repercussions there. I don't think EA is going to come knocking at the door. They've had every fucking opportunity to make a Titanfall 3, and they're busy fucking off. So I think we're good. I think we're in the clear. Blaster Goblin, let's run through a couple more headlines to wrap things up on the fucking news spotlight. What do you say? Am I keeping you too long?
No, we can do this all night, Jake. Just me and you.
Good.
Me and you powwowing about games all day long.
I love it. I fucking love it. This is my favorite type of thing. I go a little long more often than not. And it happens a lot. I am like a big proponent of like, I want Drop In Drop Out to be a 3-hour podcast every time we do it, and I try my hardest to get everyone to stay over that 2 hour. And sometimes it's got to be a little bit shorter, but a lot of times I'm always just like pushing it to the limit. Let me read you.
Mom and Dad left us. They left us money on the dresser for pizza, and they were like, "Don't stay up late, but you do it anyways."
We do it anyway. We're playing video games all night and eating leftover pizza, even though we left it out all night long, and we're getting breadsticks. It's going to be a scene, man. I'm going to read you a tweet. And the reason why I'm going to read you this tweet is because it started the perfect way to start any fucking tweet from Nintendo. This is Miyamoto. Oh, those 3 little words. This is Miyamoto. It's so matter of fact. This is Miyamoto.
It's the text from your grandpa, and you're like, "Yeah, I know." He doesn't know how address books work.
It is always interesting when it starts out with that. I'm like, "Ooh, I'm locked in. What does my fucking goat have to say?" I would like to let you know that the worldwide theatrical release date for the live-action film of The Legend of Zelda has been moved up to April 30th, 2027 from May 7th. The team is working hard to deliver the film to everyone as soon as possible. How exciting. What's your hype level for a Legend of Zelda film?
I've kind of been like, I've seen, like just the various things pop up about it, but I haven't like dove very deep into it. I'm interested. I'm gonna go see it. I know it's a live action thing, correct? Am I not wrong on that? I like the Mario movies. I like both of them. I've seen the first one 4 billion times because I have a toddler that watches it all day long. So I mean, I'm just kind of in the Nintendo movie system. I feel like they're doing an okay job over there. So it can't be that bad, right?
Blaster Goblin, let me combine our next news story with this news story. The Mario Galaxy movie is now available to rent or buy on streaming services. Have you seen it?
Oh, I have. I was in the theaters.
Nice.
I made it a mission. I was like, I got to be able to make it out to Mario Galaxy. Nice. And the short little review here. I think everybody's way too hard on that movie. It is not that bad. It's pretty solid film.
I am literally planning on watching this movie tonight if everything goes well, because I have not seen it. I didn't see the first one in theaters either. I waited until it came out on streaming and I watched it immediately when it was available to me at home. And I was quite fond of it. I remember I watched it with a friend, and right as it ended, I remember what I said. I was like, that was fine. I'll watch every single Mario movie they ever make. Like, I'm so in on that little like universe. There were so many charming things about it. There's so much to enjoy about it. And it was mind-boggling when they shadow dropped that Star Fox Direct. I knew about Star Fox being in the movie. They put out that poster in the whole 9 yards. And I had seen I think I had seen like a clip or something online where I had seen him like working on a ship or something, like maybe his intro. But when they showed that excerpt from the movie and it went in and it started playing the Star Fox theme, and it was like this animated fucking segment of like Balco and Slippy and Peppy all doing the stuff. And I was like, was this in the fucking movie? And everyone was like, yes. And I was like, what the fuck? That's so sick. How can you review this movie as anything less than a 7 if that scene exists in it? I don't think you can.
The thing is, like, people complain about, their complaint is always like, don't you want more from your kids' movies? I get it. A Pixar movie makes you cry. That's fine. I also enjoy that. But the answer is no. Sometimes I want to watch Piranaconda on Sci-Fi. Like, I don't always need the peak of storytelling. Sometimes I just want to watch some nonsense. Do you know the story of Mario? Like the story of the video games? I mean, like, I know it doesn't exist. Right. It's just nonsense. Sometimes he's a baby that was raised by a dinosaur. Other times he's a plumber that fell into a world of mushrooms. It's nonsensical. It doesn't have to make sense. For sure. Do you know Miyamoto's like old take on that about like Mario Brothers 3 and like his vision of how like the Mario stories go about like timelines and interconnectivity? I'm not super familiar on the exact. So it's like I think the question that he was like asked in an interview, I think it was Dan Reichert asked him about this, and this is how we got like Miyamoto's headcanon for like his Nintendo characters is like, if Bowser kidnaps Peach all the time, why do they play tennis together? Which is a fucking great question. And in his head, every game that they star in kind of plays out like Mario 3, where the whole thing is like a play. It's an act. It's a movie that they are in. And then during the off time, everyone's just homies and they race karts and they play fucking golf and they're like kicking it. So it's like, depending on the time that you catch them or the media that you are ingesting featuring these characters, it may be a canon or non-canon event where Bowser is playing Bowser in Mario Odyssey, but then that Bowser is also off the clock later on, racing Rainbow Road against Peach, who he just pretended to kidnap earlier that day. Very cool. And that is why this movie doesn't need to make any sense. That just tells me more on the opinion of what is this? We don't have to like do the peak of storytelling here. It is excellent junk food. It moves fast. It's bright colors. there's a story there. You can follow it, and it's good. It's written enough to get you from point A to point B. You get the oh, I remember that from the games, or oh, I remember that song. It's great.
Yeah, very cool. Do you have a lot of faith in the Zelda movie?
I think it's going to be a lot harder to do with live action.
Yeah,
and I think Zelda is a little more difficult because it's a little more serious. Where Mario, you can be like, we got Chris Pratt. You can't really do that with Zelda. So
yeah,
gonna have anybody like singing songs or like cracking jokes like that in Zelda. So I think it's gonna be a little harder of a sell. But I feel like they didn't used to, but Nintendo now has a little more of a like kind of an idea of their quality of what they have to hit. Like they used to put out some real stinkers
for sure.
in the TV and the game world. And I feel like now they're a little more like aware of where they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if they're looking at it and they're like, we're going to push this up, or they push it, we're going to move this up, then I think they know they've got something on their hands if they're not cooking it for as long as they could.
Yeah,
Which
I think
with Mario as well, Mario Galaxy. I believe they pulled
up.
Well.
I do vaguely remember that, having that liquid release date. And I mean, it's not like the biggest indicator, being that it's like only a week or two every time they move one of these things. But moving it at all is a show of confidence that they are on the right track. Like it's still being shot. I don't know if principal photography has wrapped yet, but that's an indicator that things are going as planned. They haven't scheduled any drastic reshoots. There's no CGI fucking issues or anything like that. Like we are still moving ahead as planned for a year from now, which is pretty wild that we'll have a Zelda movie here. That's going to be. I wonder. Part of me thinks is like, oh, I wonder that it's good. I wonder if it's going to be good. I wonder if this is going to be like fun to watch. And then the other part of me is like, is this just going to be like the next like Hunger Games or Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings? Like, what if this movie is just like fucking massive, like live action franchised the fuck out, and Zelda is like a household name more than ever before? I think there's a good chance that could happen the closer that we get to it.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the thing that I think live action has more of a potential to do than animated. But the other thing that's coming to mind is, what do you think is going to release alongside this? What is their game idea? Because like this movie, we got Star Fox, and then early on, we got the Galaxy ports. Do you think they're going to line something up? Like, are we getting a remaster? Are we getting certainly not a new Zelda game this quick? Like,
well, if the rumors are to be believed, and at this point we should believe them, we had a leak where the two biggest headlines were 2 Star Fox games in development. One of them is imminent, and an Ocarina of Time remake is on the way for the Zelda 40th anniversary, or whatever anniversary number we should be at right now. I think 40. The question then, if we are to believe that and going on the assumption that we are indeed getting an Ocarina of Time remake, is does that come out this year? Are we going to see that announced and then released for the anniversary? Does it make it this year for the holiday season? Is that our big Nintendo Switch 2 anchor title? Or do they push that until, I want to say it was March and April for release dates. Or no, I think there was a delay for Tears of the Kingdom, but I know it was March of 2017 for Zelda Breath of the Wild, and that was a massive fucking hit. If we're looking at like a March 2027 Zelda Ocarina of Time remake, finally, after all these years, in addition to later that fucking month or 3 weeks from then, the fucking Legend of Zelda movie drops, like, you're talking Zelda madness on 2 of the biggest entertainment fucking formats that exist. Like, that could be generational. I feel like, as far as like marketing goes, because I think they've kind of missed the boat a little bit. Like, Star Fox isn't really coinciding with Mario Galaxy that well, and there was no really big Mario game, I don't believe. Like, I think Wonder missed the Mario movie, the first Mario movie. There's been no real like good tie-in. It would be interesting to see that at the same time. I think that could be fucking like astonishingly big.
So forgive my Nintendo ignorance here.
Sure.
Do they, when they do, I mean, they usually got like big like holiday everybody's got a big holiday title.
Yeah.
Is it frequently remakes or remasters, or is it a new game usually?
It's there's no rhyme or reason to it. There's usually a pretty good influx of both. This past year was really interesting because I would argue that the biggest Nintendo Switch game that came out was probably Donkey Kong Bonanza or Mario Kart World, which came out in June and July, respectively. And then some other things came out, but it was a lot of like Nintendo Switch 2 editions that would drop. And some of that is chalked up to the brand new console coming out. But Nintendo's always been really a mixed bag. And truthfully, it's very difficult to study like Nintendo's habits as we go for their second console generation, because the previous six, seven console generations that we had, Nintendo was a company that put out games on two separate platforms alongside each other. So their big holiday flagship titles would come out not only on the Nintendo GameCube, but also the Game Boy Advance, not only on the Wii, but also the Nintendo DS. And now with the Switch being a modular system that is both their handheld IP and their, console game, you have only one single stream of releases for anyone that owns a Nintendo console. So one could argue that there are more games than ever coming out for a single console, but less games than ever before, because now it's only a single console that's being developed for, as opposed to, a good half dozen first party games for each of the Nintendo console that are at large at that time. So it's tough. There's really no, I don't think there's rhyme, reason, or consistency that we can really read into until the inevitable Nintendo Switch 3 coming in 2033. I would assume.
I appreciate your knowledge. I'm like in and out of the Nintendo ecosystem. I like leave in and then leave for a day or two and come back. So that's the one that I'm like least educated on. A lot of misses and a lot of black holes in my history of Nintendo.
It is fucking difficult to keep up with, if we're being 100% honest. So I don't blame you at all. We mentioned this next story in passing earlier, and I'm very excited to hear your thoughts on it, because again, we don't have to spend a ton of time on this one, but we had an episode of Drop In Drop Out just a couple of weeks ago where we kind of talked about our hopes and dreams. Go back and listen to that if you'd like some more information. But 007 First Light has gone gold. The game will be out next fucking week. What's your hype level?
I'm very excited for 007 First Light. I'm glad someone's doing it. Like for years, everybody's been like, Naughty Dog, please make us a secret agent game. And then IO was like, hold my beer. We got it. And it is exactly what I would want from that kind of game. Just like from all the previews and everything, it's like, this is Uncharted, but with James Bond, and we'll give you a sprinkle of Hitman, but not too much, because some of us get a little confused when it comes to Hitman. It's a little bit difficult for my tiny homeschool brain.
Correct. Me too.
But I'm very excited.
I'm right aligned with you. This is a day one for me. I've been excited since the initial thing, and it's been one of those games where this happens to me all the fucking time when there are big releases, where when there's like a cluster of games that come out, the current cluster that we're on right now was like Mixtape, Forza, Lego, Yoshi, and then 007, and all of these are in like a 3-week span. And I find it really hard to look past like the first two games. So like I was like Mixtape, and then all eyes on Forza. Like, God, I'm so fucking excited for Forza and early access and everything. Then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my fucking God, this week is Batman and Yoshi. And then all the way in the back here, rounding out the month, is Bond. So I feel like I haven't thought about it or given myself the right amount of time, or I guess mind share, to get properly hyped for it. But I fucking love Bond games. And I think IO is so talented, and doing things a little bit more action oriented is right up my alley. And every time I've seen this game in motion, I have just had one single thought, and it's, I want to play this right now. And I am so excited to get my hands on it next week. I think it's going to review very well. I think that game is going to be fucking awesome. Really excited.
Here's my thing with Bond. I have never seen a Bond film. Never watched one. When it comes to Bond games, I'm putting Perfect Dark in over GoldenEye every single time.
Fuck yeah.
I'm a Perfect Dark boy. Joanna Dark has my heart. Not even, I'll just shove it. Just let that thing slide under the couch to collect dust bunnies. Do not care about GoldenEye. So this is going to be like my first Bond experience. Like, really in-depth Bond experience. And I'm kind of taking that as like the experiment of like, this is my Bond. Let's see how it does. Instead of diving in. I've had time after time where I could have like got into the Bond, and I was just like, I'll get to it eventually. And then time just keeps on rolling, and I never get to Bond. And now I'm like, I like IO, so let's give it a shot. And then I started seeing those trailers, and I was like, as a major Uncharted fan, I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
And then recently, I played a little bit of Hitman: World of Assassination through an IO thing, where they sent me a code and I played it, and I was like, oh, Hitman is actually like super good now, because I've played like Hitman 2 like way back in the day, and I was like, this is too difficult for someone of my my intelligence.
So much happening.
Like World of Assassination, I'm like, it has enough like things that you can like, it can give you guardrails if you want and make it fairly easy. And like after playing that, I was like, oh, I want this even more. I'm unbelievably hyped for a thing that I have no connection to, and I find that really bizarre, but I'm so in. Every time I see more of it, I'm like, you just inject it in me. You rain it on me, Jeff. Give me
Jeff,
007.
Jeff, we need a Jeff injection bad. Blaster Goblin, I have recommended you a dozen games today, a couple TV shows and movies. I have shamed you for not playing SSX. Out of everything that I have given you for homework, I fear that you should watch Casino Royale, the first Daniel Craig movie, before Bond comes out. I feel like it is a movie that is oozing with style, that it holds up very well despite being like 15 years old at this point, and is just like, man, it is a fun, tight 2 hours at the movies, man. Like if you put that on that big old TV that I'm seeing right there and lean back with a nice drink and have yourself a fucking evening watching Casino Royale, there is no chance that you come back to me and you're like, you wasted my time.
I have no doubt that I will enjoy Bond. Like I know that it's the kind of movie I'm into. I have a hard time like locking into movies. Like I just like,
dude, my brain is rotted. Give myself so movie good.
Time. I can watch series all day long. I'll watch TV series all day long. But like movies,
even the series I struggle with sometimes. I am like so TikTok brained. Like that algorithm rots my brain so good. Like I have trouble focusing on anything for more than 30 seconds.
If Tom Cruise saw me in the street, he would take me belt to ass in like 5 minutes when he finds out that I watch 90% of movies and TV on my phone. Like, and it's always while I'm doing another task. Like, phone is up there and I got a TV series playing and I'm doing dishes, and then I'm leaving the room for 10 minutes and coming back and I'm like, I got a general idea what's going on here. And if Tom found out, oh, he'd be taking me in the street in minutes.
Taking you in the street, you know where he'd be taking you? He'd be taking not belt to ass, he'd be bringing you electric shock to brain. It's fucking Scientology time, baby. Lock in. Blaster Goblin, I can think of no better conversation to end it on. Very, very nice chatting with you today. The one thing that I didn't get a chance to bring up was you put out a very new video. I wanted you to pitch that a little bit here on Drop It on Spotlight Games. What you been working on?
I did. I put that out Sunday. I blew the edit. Like I blew through the edit. I didn't blow the edit. I blew through it in like 24 hours after working on this thing for a couple of weeks. And it is titled "Video Game Consoles Aren't Cool Anymore." It may just be consoles aren't cool anymore. And it's really just a vehicle to talk about how much I love like old console features, like the Wii U gamepad being something weird and cool, or the fact that you can rip CDs to a Xbox 360 and it has a visualizer and you can just play them over the top of whatever game, or PS2's memory cards. I'm spoiling the whole video for you. It's like 14 minutes. It was a blast. I was just sitting in here, like plugging in consoles, messing around with them, and just like looking at features, and then turning on my Series X and being like, all you do is play games and have tiles on you.
Yeah. And show me McDonald's ads.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just a love letter to consoles being something cool to look at, instead of just like, this is the box that gets me my games. This is the cheap PC that I play. It doesn't do the things I need a PC to do.
You got a favorite console of all time?
Oh boy, it's probably the 360 or the PS2. Nice. And those are nostalgia picks for sure, of like the amount of time I spent just like me and Halo 3 for like years at a time and stuff like that. You know, the amount of 360 red ringed immediately, like my life stops until we go get a new 360. Like,
for sure.
I've got a lot of memories there, and it's like that was the peak of, not that I'm like, this is not like a God, I hate gaming now, because I know those guys. This is not that video. This is, I love games. Games are like the best they've ever been. We're getting the craziest games right now. But these things were wild, and I love them. So that is up there. If people want to go see that at youtube.com/Blaster Goblin.
youtube.com/Blaster Goblin. And if they want to watch you live on Friday nights,
it is there on YouTube also and on Twitch. We're both places. The other thing I want to plug though is a stream coming up in June 12th. I am doing my 100th stream because I only stream once a week, and I do an archive of every single stream. They're all there. They're on YouTube and they just go right up. So I know exactly how many I've done. And I'm a big softy for milestones. So I was like, I want a bunch of people to celebrate me doing this 100 times, sitting here in front of a camera, playing a video game and talking. So I'm trying to get as many people that want to be involved as possible to play Halo Reach with me on a stream, co-streams, whatever. I got a bunch of custom games curated. So if anybody wants to play Halo Reach with me on June 12th, and Jake,
that's right. I invited myself.
Yep, he's in. There's a couple different people that are in. Friendship Design is in as well. Jim Tasty, I believe, said he would be a part of it. If anybody else wants to jump on that train, let me know. Heroic Headgear mentioned something. I don't know if he's still in or not. I haven't confirmed with anybody. I got to do that. But as many people as we can get jumping on this, let me know. Let's I'm
sure we'll wrangle up a couple more Dido members in there as well. And I know for me, when I have the opportunity to play the worst of all of the Bungie developed Halo games, I jump on it, baby.
What? Hold on. Start the pod over. Run intro again. I know that you don't know how to work it, but just run it again. Hold on.
The intro was the weakest part of the podcast. If you made it this far, you owe Blaster Goblin, myself at JakeTwitchin, and Spotlight Games via drop in, drop out a like and subscribe. Too good to me. Blaster Goblin, thank you so much for hanging out and doing this podcast. It was an absolute blast. Let's not wait 30 some odd years to do it again. Let's do another one sooner. Very nice.
Official, unofficial, drop in, drop out, part-time member.
That's right. If you haven't heard, it's Blaster Goblin week here on Drop In, Drop Out.
Blaster Goblin week 3.
All right.
They're coming in at quite a pace.
It's coming in a rapid tick. This is the part where we wave at the camera and we say goodbye until the stream or the podcast ends. Thank you guys all so much for listening. Goodbye.